and welcome back. I'm here with Shannon Mead from Stack of Stones. Hi, Shannon.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So, we're going to talk about all kinds of things today. You have
Mhm.
a new course coming out, right?
I do, yeah. I should have, by the time this is out in the world, my course should be ready for everybody.
Yay. So, you want to introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a therapist and a coach. I'm based in Reno, Nevada, and I specialize in first responders and other helping professionals. I was raised in a fire family, lots of friends and family working in all kinds of different helping roles. When I went back to school, I went back to school at 36, so this is my second career. And when I went back to grad school to become a therapist, I wanted to focus on helping those who are out there helping. So that's what I do.
Fantastic. I love it. What was your
Yes.
first career, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a consultant, tech and data consultant for a long time. Yeah, it
Wow.
actually goes in even like the course and a lot of the stuff I do because I was a strategic planner. It tends to show up in the second career.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, like, I would love a strategic planner to tell me how to strategically plan my life. Like, that'd be awesome.
Help. I love whiteboards and post-its and all those things.
Lines and workflows.
Yeah. Every client, there's whiteboards in every room of the office and a couple rooms in my house. And
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. I love sticky notes too. They're like everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all over.
all over. Love that. So, what would we like to talk about today?
Well, I think so. We were chatting a little bit before this, and I think really talking about practical ways to deal with the muck of the work could be helpful. That's my course is all about practical stuff. Everything I do in this office with clients is about being as practical as possible. So maybe we chat about that.
Practical.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Enough conceptual. Let's be practical.
It's really practical, yes. So, let's talk about, I think most people get really stuck on schedules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The
why don't
fire
we start
schedule is big.
there? Yeah. Why don't we start there and then see where the conversation takes us?
Sure. Yeah. What do you see people getting stuck on? Like, what are the biggest challenges you see when it comes to the fire schedule?
I think unpredictability of when they're coming home or if they're going to get mandoed, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that unknown of the force hires and the stupid mandatory list. I think whenever people are like, well, what makes you culturally competent to work with fire? And I was like, I understand the algorithm, which is not an algorithm, it's a chess game of playing the mandatory list, right? Like,
Wait, but there's an algorithm within the chess game, right?
yeah,
But
oh, and you got to check the weather and determine like what, right? It's a whole thing. And that in and of itself it's hard to pick up in grad school. That's something you have to be born into. Yeah.
so one of the things that I found myself doing this year, which is really weird because I've been married to a wildland firefighter for 17 years, like I know the drill by now, but
Right.
in around like end of June, early July, I felt myself getting really anxious.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel it's like my body knew that it was time for all of this to start happening. And I kind of wonder if other people have this experience and also like how to mitigate it. Like I know it's coming. I know what it feels like when it gets here. Now I'm in it. How do we talk to our spouses about the feelings without
Ooh.
sounding resentful or ungrateful?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Okay. So let me, just in case someone's listening and they're not in California. So let me just clarify that July is when things start to dry out for you. And so it's when that intensity of the fire season for your region gets higher.
Yes. Yes.
So July for you, if you're listening, this may be like March, or it may be a different time of year. Or it could even be like before the holidays or something, depending on what your um, family schedule looks like. Okay, so first, it can be anytime. Second, are you able to name what you notice in your body, or is it just super vague?
I started to like not be able to sleep as I'm a sleeper. I love sleep. So I
Okay.
wasn't sleeping as well. I started getting like kind of lethargic, having some racing thoughts.
Yeah.
I'd waken up in the morning and feel like I hadn't slept at all, even though I may have gotten 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Like things that just fatigued, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like
Almost.
nothing settled me down. Like I was just like amped all the time. right?
Okay. Yeah. So that like that's being able to put words to that is a skill set. So well done. High five. Because I
Yep.
think sometimes our body is doing that, but it's so vague
Hmm.
and we can't understand why, so then we dismiss it.
Yeah.
So noticing when our body's telling us like, "Ooh, I've got some feels" is the first thing. And I think trusting ourselves, even before we talk to our spouse or our partner, like trusting if my body is doing this, my body is trustworthy. Because especially for women, I feel like we've been taught not to always trust what's going on, right? And dismiss it as like, I'm just being dramatic, or I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong and explain it, so therefore it must not be a thing. And it's like if we've got the antsies, if we've just got we can just feel it, okay, that's enough. So that would be my first thing is trust yourself. And then I'm kind of a giant nerd, so I love trying to add humor to things. So like within your partnership, if you're able to be like, look, we're entering the dark days, or like you name it, whatever it is, that can sometimes help instead of being like, you're gonna be gone, and that's frustrating to me, which has a little bit of a like, you are the problem feel to it. It's like, okay, how do we handle the dark days? My body's telling me they're coming, right? Winter is coming. And that kind of sets you up to work as a team versus enemies. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I think that was actually perfect because that's exactly what I did. I'm like, what? 5 seasons here?
Hmm.
And that has me feeling some kind of way, you
Yeah.
know. But that took 17 years. Like literally,
Hmm.
I've been married almost 18 years now, and it took me 17 years to get here to where I am right now, being able to say, I'm feeling some kind of way about fire season happening. Even though I know like his schedule right now is a lot less than it would have been. Like he's not gonna go out on fires as much. But even just my body kept the score, like
Hmm.
literally.
Yeah.
Like that book is amazing. Like that's like
Yeah.
the reason why I know how to name it. But
Yeah.
also the body does literally keep the score. So
Mhm.
it's saying, oh gosh, it's getting warmer outside. The grass is starting to dry out. I haven't seen rain in like 30 days.
Yep.
It's not foggy on the coast. Like I live on the coast. So if it's not foggy on the coast, we've got that dry wind going on. Something's
Feels dangerous.
feeling my body's saying, okay, this is getting this is getting serious now. And then the first fire pops off, and then you're like really in it, right?
Here we go.
So, and how are my kids going to feel about that? Like,
Mhm.
so it took me literally 17 years to get to being able to say, this is going to suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Totally.
okay for it to suck because it sucks.
It does. Well, and I mean, a big thing I'm super passionate about is like we don't naturally know how to know that it sucks and put words to how it sucks and then know what to do about it. So like I get so fired up around teaching the skills for that. Because if you're listening and you don't know how, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're dumb or like like you're unable to manage yourself. It just means you don't have the skills. And that's okay. But go get them. Because if we could do it before 17 years, that would be
It
cool.
would have been really nice for somebody to give me permission at like 22 to just feel my
Mhm.
feels and be like, it's okay to feel your feelings,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
we weren't as evolved, I don't think, as humans back when I was 20. I mean, it was early 2000s. Like,
We were still drinking from the hose. Nobody was carrying water bottles around. Yeah. Give me a break.
drinking Zimas, like
Yeah. All you softies, you
the
don't even
bathtub, like talking about feelings.
know. Yeah, exactly.
It was just about feet and food at that point, right? Like, or was it even existing?
I don't even think.
We had Flickr.
Yeah, that was way back in the MySpace days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just posting pictures of our food. Like,
Yeah. It was like my email address is my actual name. That's how old I am. My that I was Gmail was beta when I was in college. So
yeah,
trust
I don't
us.
have a Hotmail account.
Oh,
I don't use it. I still have
this is
it.
not AOL. It's if as long as it's not AOL, you're okay. Yeah.
No, I did have AOL though, and
Yeah.
IC. But anyway, I'm just aging myself now. But yeah, it would have been nice at 22 to have somebody say, or no, I digress. Actually, it was 20. I think I married my husband when I was 25, 24. So 25. Let's just
To
say,
have some skills.
yeah.
And part of why I went back to grad school is we became foster parents. And then all the things that I teach about all the time, like compassion fatigue and moral injury, kicked me in the fucking teeth. And I was barely functioning. But there was no, like, I didn't have the skills. And I couldn't find a clinician that would help me with the skills because there just wasn't as much out there. So I went back to grad school partially because I wanted to change careers and partially because I was like, what the hell is wrong? And that's what got me here.
Yeah, like there back then, like Googling, you couldn't find anything on how to be a how to be a fire wife. Forget that. Like nobody was talking about it. Everybody was just sucking it up. And I think that's
Mhm.
the beauty of today is that we're not just sucking it up anymore. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are doing a lot more talking. I don't think this conversation would have been possible 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Somebody would have shamed us for having this conversation, right? So, um,
Totally.
I
And
mean,
I think life is different now. I think there's some things like, I mean, I should actually go ask my mom, right? Because I grew up in the middle of this, but I don't feel like the mandatories were quite the same. The wildland was the same because my dad flew air attack. So I know he would be gone for months on end. And now in hindsight, I'm like, oh my gosh, she didn't kill us. Good job, mom.
I think that the mandatories, the hold alls, all of that stuff was the same. The intensity of the fires was different.
Hmm. And the length of the
Yeah,
season.
the longevity of the season. I believe that fire season is a PR term.
Yep.
We are always in fire season
Especially in California.
in
Yeah.
California, specifically. But that being said, it was the same. I mean, for me, it was the same. Like the intensity of the fire, the longevity, whatever, is the same. Like
Mhm.
he's gonna be gone one way or the other. So, yeah, it would have been really nice 17 years ago if somebody had just given me permission
That's it.
to feel the feelings and name it and
Yeah.
deal with it and give me the skills, like you said, to deal with it. So, what are
Mhm.
some things that we can do when we're in that moment of, oh crap, fire season's here, or oh crap, it's going to get mandatory tomorrow? What are some
Oh, yeah.
things that we can do as at home individuals to manage our emotions within that? And then, how do we communicate that to our spouse so they know what's going on so that we aren't miscommunicating with
Yeah.
each other? And
Yeah.
how do we listen to them at that in that same moment? Because here's my whole thing. They
Mhm.
have stuff going on at work. I have stuff going
Mhm.
on at home. Their
Yep.
day's probably just as bad as my day in some context, right? Like, let's just face it. Everybody's having something going on. So
Yep. Nobody's skating by here. They have recliners at the station, but that doesn't mean they're skating by. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let me answer in a couple different parts. So the first thing I would say is handling it well in the heat of the moment never works if you haven't practiced before. Like we can't be good communicators when both of us are totally burnt out and exhausted and resentment's high. So we've got to practice before. Like I work with a lot of couples. Um, and one of the things that constantly goes through my head and comes out of clients' mouths is, I wish we started earlier. So if you're listening, you have a little like, man, I wish we were better communicators. Okay, do something about it now. Because when you're completely worn down and all the trust and affection and laughter has left the relationship, it gets hard to fix. And I'm a pretty good fixer helper. Like I can sit with a couple and we can come up with a plan, but sometimes if it's too worn down, it's hard to fix. So my first thing is start before it's a crisis. And then my second thing is you have to figure out who you are. So we lose ourselves, especially if you have little kids running around. And honestly, one of the things I think has changed is not even necessarily like fire season and the job, but things like travel sports and the schedules around kids' sports and all the damn like theme days at school and like, oh, now we have a graduation ceremony for everything. Like, yeah, you graduated spring semester of fourth grade.
That. And
Like,
everybody gets a participation award. Yes.
yeah. And also you have to like buy a cap and gown and set up like a whole signboard about like if you love that stuff, if that brings you alive, cool. And if you hate it from the depths of your soul, I'm with you. Like the expectations on parenting now, I think, are a little cuckoo.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna 100% like you have to do all the sports, you have to do all the things, you have to go to every single back to school night.
yeah,
I'm like, what? By myself? gonna say, I'm gonna tell a story because I think that it fits right into this context. So my kids
Yeah.
are, they are now 15, 17, and 21.
Okay. Okay.
So 2 years, less than 2 years apart, like right in age for the young ones. And there was so I think it was Cameron's second fire season in the field.
Okay.
And I was not managing well at all.
Mhm.
And in my
Actually,
infinite wisdom,
I'm going to stop you really quick because this is something I want everyone to think. It's not that you weren't managing well. You were doing the best you could with the skills you had.
yes.
Okay. Because
So
I feel like so many people are out there judging, like, I'm not doing well. I suck at this. And it's like, no, hold on.
I was
Sorry. I was just
literally
using
in my late 20s, early 30s.
two little kids. Like,
Oh,
you shouldn't be good at this. You shouldn't be good at this. Okay. Carry on.
and
Yeah.
who is good at this? I'm not even good at it now. Like,
That's why I'm like, if you're listening and you're like beating yourself up, no, no, no. It's just that this is really hard. Yeah.
but I'm like honest about that moment in my life. I was a train wreck. I really was. Like, let's just get real, like a total train wreck. So, in my infinite wisdom, in my train wreck, of self, I decided to enroll all of my children in soccer.
Because that was the good thing to do, right? That was what a good parent does. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna enroll them in soccer. It'll give them something to do. It'll give me a break. Like, they'll go to
Mhm.
soccer practice, whatever. So I got the schedules, and there was a schedule where I think he was 5 at the time, my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old had a soccer game at the exact same time on
Mhm.
different fields.
Yep.
And I'm
Mhm.
like, and it's fire season, so my husband's not home. He's gone. My parents would have usually come, but they were out of town. So
Yeah.
here I am trying to be superwoman and be on 2 fields at the same time. I'm like, okay, mental math. So when they're taking their water break, I can go over to this field. And then when they're on their water break, I can come back to this field. And I'm like, and it's like not just a couple of steps away.
No.
It's the entirety of a
Mhm.
playground basically away, right? And so I was totally stressed out about it. And the kids are like, where is dad? Why is nobody like, what is going on? And
Yeah.
so after that day, I was like, do you guys even want to play soccer? And they're like, not really. We don't even really like it. And I'm like, great. So we're done.
Yeah. Good.
And that was the day that my children stopped playing organized sports.
It's
And I
like, I
think
think sports are amazing, but they're so intense these days.
and it was like a game every Saturday, practice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like it was like they're freaking 7 and 5. Like, why are we?
Yeah.
They're not professional athletes.
No, this is not scholarship situation right now. Yeah.
But this is supposed to be fun, and if it's not fun, why are we doing it?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you finish a day like that, and the kids are asking for dad after
Mm-hmm.
you just literally ran your ass off,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't feel like you were good at any of it,
And
and
you don't feel
everybody's
like your kids even want to be around you because you're a total. It was chaos. It was absolute chaos.
you're
I was a wreck.
exhausted. You're
Yeah.
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 It's a lot.
It is a lot. So that was the day I decided I'm
Mhm.
not doing this anymore. And it was the day
Mhm.
the kids were like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't any fun when dad can't take us to practice. And it's not any fun when dad can't be here. And
Mhm.
why? So it wasn't until my youngest was in 8th grade that we played organized sports again. And he played one season and he was like, I hated that. I'm never doing it again. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool.
Mhm.
So this is my permission slip to whoever's listening. You don't have to do all that stuff. If it's not fitting into your fun,
Mhm.
let go.
Yeah. If your
Anyway,
kids, it's and so then like I was a little different because my son. Hello, engine one. There they go. Let them go. That was probably loud. Sorry, everybody. My son really liked sports. So I wanted to encourage that, but then finding my balance. I'm not like we weren't a sports family. I didn't grow up watching sports, and it took me a long time to learn that like watching Friday night football games, I loved watching him play, but I barely know how football works. And so at the end of a work week, I was working so hard to like track my kid and understand and not cheer for the wrong team because I was that mom that would get confused and clap at the wrong time. And like starting to give myself permission to just not be good at it. And I'd still show up and I'd still do my best, but I learned to like buffer it a little bit because it was a lot for me cognitively to track my kid with all the kids that all look the same.
Yeah.
So if
It's a hard one to learn if you didn't grow up learning like like I grew up in a football town, so
yeah,
football's like my jam. I love
yeah,
football. But if you didn't have that, like that's a complicated sport. It really is. I think soccer's just as complicated if we're being honest.
no,
I
anytime
don't
they're
get
moving fast.
yeah.
Baseball, at least baseball, you've got one person doing a thing at a time and they go in a straight line. I could track
Like tennis and golf are my speed. And
it's
football. I love football, but
then I know other parents who love being at the games. And so I think going back to your original question about how do we take care of ourselves, you have to figure out who you are. And then you have to not beat yourself up for it. So I spent a lot of time thinking I was a bad mom because I didn't really enjoy the bleacher time. And it doesn't mean I have any less love for my kid or any less love for him enjoying the sport, but it can be the word I use in the course is congruent versus incongruent. If something is a good fit, cool. If it's not, okay. That doesn't mean we suck. It just means it's not congruent for us.
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of shame about what we should be doing. Like, oh, I'm looking at somebody else's life and thinking that my life should be exactly like theirs.
Mhm.
This isn't a one size fits all. Like, we're not
No.
all going to do the same thing the same way every time. Like, I had to give it up. Like, I'm not going to be the perfect PTA mom. I know that about myself. I don't
Mm-mm.
have time to go to every meeting and every activity. And
Mhm.
so, oh, you need a donation? Here's a check. Like, I can't donate my time, but I can support it in a different way. And so
Mhm.
that's how we've made that work.
Mhm.
Okay, so we covered so
Starting
that
early,
starting early.
deciding what fits for you, and then figuring that out because as you grow older, it changes.
Mhm.
So if you used to love like going out and being in noisy environments when you were young, and now you're like speaking for myself, increasingly interested in like birds and sitting in the backyard quietly. Like, okay, that like, you know, if you're young and you're like, what's the big thing about birds? You'll find out. It'll come. And all of a sudden you'll be like, look at them. They're just amazing.
Yeah, my husband and I recently went to Disneyland, and I
Okay.
used to love Disneyland.
It's a lot though.
By 5 o'clock in the evening, I was so done listening to children cry that
Mhm.
I was like, let's go have dinner outside the park. Like, I
Mhm.
cannot. And then he was like, do you want to go back? And I'm like, not really. And I felt myself being disappointed in myself because I'm such a Disney fan. Like, I love Disney. But I was like, no,
Mhm.
I do
Yeah.
not want to go back to that noisy place with the
Mhm.
crying children. I did my crying children days. I'm done. And then it
Yes.
was like, wow, that felt really good to just be able to say no. No,
Yeah.
I'm not. Like,
Well,
so I get it.
sorry if that's coming through the recording. Someone's in my parking lot with their bass bumping. Speaking of things that are not cool anymore, knock it off, you youngster. Bass. I think the thing is like we have this idea of who we used to be, and one of the things I talk to clients a lot about is relearning how to have fun because we lose it, and then we try to do the things we used to love, or maybe we can't anymore. Like maybe we used to love to go play pickup basketball, and now we have two bad knees or whatever. And then what happens is I feel like we just stop. We just don't do it. We're responsible, and we go like rake the leaves or something, and
That's
like
not
that's
fun.
not no. Unless you jump in the pile, and once you're an adult, you feel like, well, then I'm going to have to re-rake it, so it's not as fun.
Or I'm going to hurt my back because I jumped into a pile of leaves and I'm 43 years old.
Yes. Like, and the fun gets squeezed out, but we have to figure out how to protect it. And I think fun often feels silly. Like even something like jumping in the leaves, or like my favorite thing to do with my husband is we go play cards at the bar. Like it doesn't seem important, but it keeps us connected to who we are. It's a chance to laugh with our partner, and that can be a game changer. So protect it. If you know what your fun is, protect it. If you've lost it, that's okay, but you have to learn how to refine it. Like we have to go back in and figure out what brings us alive. And if it's not Disney anymore, okay.
Yeah, and if you get to the end of something and it was something that you tried that was new and you're like, "Oh, that was really fun." Do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just
Like
recently
look,
did a Broadway play together and I thought for sure my husband was going to hate it. I really wanted to see Moulin Rouge and I'm like, I thought for sure he was going to hate it.
yeah.
He loved it. And he was like, "That was really fun. That was a really fun night." I was like, "Great, let's do it again."
Yeah. And like the budget and the time and like if you need to get a sitter, all that stuff is so worth it.
It
But
is.
I think sometimes we're like, well, there's just so many bills, I can't do it. And it's like, no. You
Well, and
need
I would also
movement.
think that there might be a little bit of shame about leaving the kids because you're just gone for so long.
Yeah, you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Oh, it's so true. Okay, here's a couple things I see. One, I think there's a lot of shame for the firefighter who's gone around not coming home and being the happy mommy or daddy. Like you've been gone for 14 days or longer, and you come home and you're so like exhausted and overstimulated that being happy clappy is not, it's just not possible. And then you try, and then you're snappy, and then you feel ashamed of yourself, and then it's worse, and that turns into like this spiral of sadness that is not good for anyone. Is that something you hear a lot from other families?
Yeah, I feel like I hear a lot of firefighters like, I don't want to be away from my kids because
Hmm.
I'm away from my kids enough. And then I hear a lot of parents who work outside the home within
Hmm.
that fire family structure
Yep.
saying, I spend enough time away from my kids. I don't want to spend more.
Hmm.
And then maybe we don't have date nights.
Yep.
Maybe we don't go, you know, my husband and I have always done a trip out of town for our anniversary. Like it's just something
Yep.
that we've always prioritized. Maybe we don't go out of town together or we don't get a day of more than, a couple of hours together by ourselves. And I feel like that is a common thread. Like, and how do
Hmm.
you reconnect with your spouse if you're never with your spouse alone?
Hmm. Totally. It's so one of the things you'll hear from me if you follow me on socials or in the course is I love the idea of B minus dates. So like going out to the Broadway show, I'm guessing you got dinner before, like that's an A plus date, which
Hmm.
is fantastic. And we need a couple of those. But the reality is if that's the only time we go on a date together, then we're probably going to do what, like two or three a year?
Right.
So I'm always a big fan of B minus, which is not super long, right? Less than an hour and not super fancy. You're just going to like whatever restaurant is easy around you. It's repetitive so that you're not having to decide. Like, because how many times have you been like, oh, we should go on a date? What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know.
All the time.
Right? And then you start in this, like, you're already kind of disappointed. Don't get it.
And I'm like,
Don't.
decision fatigue is real, man. Just pick something.
It is. And so pick, like, I always tell people about how when we were in the thick of like crazy sports, when we lived up in Seattle, everything was just crazy. Work, commute, the whole thing was crazy. We had one place, it was this awesome dive bar. I missed this place because it was super divey with the best wings and a really good beer list. And sometimes it would be a 20-minute date before someone had to be picked up or dropped off or a game started. And we would like eat the wings as fast as we could and drink our beer and make eye contact, talk to each other for 20 minutes. And it wasn't like the most magical date ever. It's not like birds were singing but we were connected and we were fighting for that connection in the midst of everything else. So that's my biggest advice is like try to get in those B minus moments.
Dogs are on one today.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I love the B minus date. Like we have a couple of restaurants in town that are like our go-tos, and every once in a while I'm like, this is getting monotonous. We need to switch it up. Like I'm tired of
Yeah.
going to the same place. But when you have decision fatigue, when you're a person who has to make a lot of decisions in the moment all the time, that is like a game changer when you're just like, we're going to go to the same spot and do the same
Yep.
thing. Like,
Yep.
yeah, right. So if you like it, do it again and again and again. And
Totally.
20 minutes is plenty of time. Like, I
Yes.
literally sometimes I'm like, wait, was that long enough? Did we have a long enough date?
It's, I mean, for the couples that don't have like childcare or something, I'm like 10 minutes in the backyard. Put TV on for the kids. They will not die if you put them in front of the show. But if you don't connect as a couple and if you don't fight for that connection, I mean, it's bad for the kids in the back end, right? Kids don't want parents who don't like each other or are operating like robots. So,
Um, so
stay
yeah,
engaged.
I'm a big fan of that B minus date.
Hmm.
And sometimes we'll go out to dinner and it'll literally be 20 minutes and I'm like, should we go do something else? Because we have teenagers, so I don't have any like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't have a curfew.
right. And that's let us. If you have littles, let us tell you from the other side. I'm empty nest at this point, and it's bitching. I'm really a fan of it. Like all of a sudden you have this time, but I can imagine if we hadn't had those little tiny dates, now our ability to like just chill and have fun would be in jeopardy because we hadn't been practicing that muscle.
Yeah. So we're getting dangerously close to retirement age at this
Yeah.
point. Like we are in the 6-year stretch.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was told several years ago was like, start reconnecting now, like now, because you're not going to be able to do it when they're home. Like you're going to need to figure out how to actually live with each other. Like, and if
Hmm.
you're not doing that now, it's not going to work in retirement, right?
No, it
So,
doesn't magically get better just because you're retired. It gets worse.
right,
Trust me. Like
right.
I actually see quite a few clients in retirement, and I love when I can do pre-retirement because then you can start putting the pieces in place. But once you're just at home looking at each other all the time, and if we go back, because you asked a good question about how do you communicate with your partner when your body's doing the like wigglies before the season ramps up. If you're not good at that now, doing it in retirement and just being able to like have an honest conversation of like, I need some alone time. I need you to go somewhere else is really hard because you haven't practiced that. And all of a sudden it feels insulting. Whereas if you've practiced, like, I'm a super introverted person. I need, even if my husband is like in another room of the house, it doesn't work for me. So we've built that understanding of like, this isn't him. This isn't that I hate him. I just need really quiet time to myself. In retirement, we can advocate for that without hurting each other's feelings as bad. I'm sure there will still be some.
The dog. I'm sorry.
You're out of control.
Like, wine at the door. Like, really? Come on. Yeah. That's a skill that we need to practice for sure. Like, I'm obviously not there yet, but I have a friend whose husband was in the Navy and he was gone for 9 months out of the year. This was just his cycle of hiring,
Mm-hmm.
and he recently retired.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she was like, he's in my space all the time.
Always there. Yeah.
I can't get rid of him. Like, he won't go away. He's trying to go to the gym with me. He's trying to do the dishes with me. He's always with me. I'm like, she was like, I just need to get away from him. And I was like, well, have you told him
Mm-hmm.
this? And she was like, well, no, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm like, you need to tell him this and encourage him to get a hobby. Like, this is not healthy for anyone.
No,
So,
being able to sit and be like, what's working for us and what's not, that's a skill. And otherwise, like, he's trying to be helpful and do the dishes, and you want to throw the sponge at him, and then everyone is like surly and resentful, and it's no good. Yeah.
retirement's supposed to be fun. That's when we're supposed to be able to enjoy each other more, not be like in each other's faces and eating each other because we never figured it out beforehand, right? So
Totally.
I just thought that was like the perfect. I'm like, oh, so this is gonna be me if I don't do this now. Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
God,
if you, even if folks are just municipal and they're not doing wildland, that's still that 48-hour switch around. Like, it's a whole thing. And not being able, like, I keep going back to the same thing, but we have to just have a system in place and we have to have understanding that, like, on the off ramp day, we're both going to maybe feel these different ways. And here's our system. And like, it's amazing what happens when we communicate about it and actually have expectations and system. Like, the resentment and conflict will drop so quickly if we can get a hold of it.
I was this person like that thought that when he was home, I needed to cook every meal and I needed to have like this. I needed to wait
Oh
on
yeah.
him hand and foot.
Yeah.
And so recently, probably about 3 years ago, I started actually scheduling his cooking day.
Yeah,
Like,
good.
you're gonna cook on this day. These are like agreements that we're making, right? Like,
Mhm.
we make agreements in our relationship, whether they're silent or they're spoken, all
Yep.
the time. And I think that we err on the side of having unspoken agreements, and we
Which
think
is
that somebody
very
should be doing something that they're not doing. And that's where the expectations become the problem, right?
yeah.
So I think you're right. Like, the systems and the expectations and agreements have to be there, right?
They
I've cooked
it's
all week. You're gonna cook on Friday when you're home. This is gonna be your night to cook. Like,
mhm.
and then I'll take care of the rest, or however you want that to look.
Yep.
Sharing the load, guys. It's really important.
It's and like sitting down and being honest about what the load feels like and what you need. Like, every now and then I'll have a couple come in, they're like, no, we're doing great. And I'm like, cool. So let's talk about the dishwasher. And it's always like, and then the silence will settle over the room in general. Because there's these little things that, like, the fact that the dishwasher is a pretty consistent source of tension, it just is. And if we can't talk about it and figure it out, then someone like me has got to ask you. And then all of a sudden the session gets a lot more spicy.
Yeah. So growing up, my parents' rule was if you didn't cook, you had to clean up
Yeah.
after dinner, right?
Mhm.
And so that's just kind of always been the way that we operate. It's a silent agreement that we've made. If I cook, you clean up, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't make my kids do that.
Yeah.
Stupid. Like, what were you thinking? I'm always the one cooking and cleaning up, which is fine. I did that to myself. And,
Well,
more
probably though,
recently,
going back to when you were young and just trying to keep it all together, making them do it is sometimes so much harder than just doing it yourself.
yes, I don't have
So
a
you just,
dishwasher, so it's not like I'm doing like a million dishes.
yeah, it's not,
Let's go back to the dishwasher again. Like, it's there. We use it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. They do other things, and that's fine. So when they're home, I'm like, oh, well, paper plates would be nice because then I don't have to wash all of these plates or put them in the dishwasher and just throw them away. Like,
yeah.
these little things that we tweak while they're not home. We don't always sit at the dinner table. I have like this island in my kitchen that has a bar attached to it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
when the husband's home, we'll all sit down on the dinner table. When he's not, I stand at the counter and they sit. Like, that's just seems to work. But
It's
we
what
do
works.
these little things. We make all these little adjustments when he's not here versus when he is. And so when he comes home, the kids are like, we're going to sit at the dinner table. Like, we're not going to sit in.
Right?
That's home. This is tradition. We're doing it.
We're
So,
gonna be a bit more from, and then like even going back to your question about preparing for the dark days, things like going to Costco and buying the paper plates is like your little way of being like, look, it's coming. We're entering the dark days. These are the things I need. And then trying to take away, like, I know that for various people, throwing away paper plates might feel wasteful. And it's like, sure. But in the grand scheme of things, is that the battle you want to fight right now? And in the middle of like deployment after deployment, no, get the paper plate.
yeah. I dust off my crock pot.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of frozen food.
Hmm. You know, I love a dino nugget.
Uber is part of my village.
It's
It just is.
yeah. And if
Yeah.
you go back to the idea of agreements, like even sitting down, I've worked with folks on this idea of like, okay, what is your budget and how does it shift during a deployment? Like, what is the extra money for childcare? What is the extra money for takeout? Because expecting that you'll still be able to handle everything on day, 12 of 14, no, that's pizza.
And I'm 21
Oh,
or 28 or
yeah,
30.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing about California. Cal Fire people don't usually understand their portal to portal. On day, 19, if they say, oh, you're not on the line, go back to your station, their clock resets.
Oh, I did not know that.
A lot of people don't know that. So this is why you hear of Cal Fire families whose firefighters are out 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 days. I had somebody tell me recently their guy was gone 90 days.
So I thought it was always a staffing issue. Like, because I'd hear that and I always figured it was
Well,
staffing.
maybe it's a staffing issue.
But their clock resets? Oh, that makes me feel like I need a picket sign. It's just like, and and if we go back to resentment, sometimes your fire marshal has no control over the policy. And being able to stand shoulder to shoulder in that versus like pointing fingers at each other is
Yeah,
hard.
so I understand that until recently. They
Mhm.
get that, like, they didn't get to come.
Yeah.
It's like they go back to their station and they can be at their station because it's only the fire line. It's that 24 on, 24 off cycle. So they like to take them off the line and put them somewhere else. And then their clock resets. I didn't understand. I didn't get it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So with the U.S. Forest Service, they actually reset at 21 days and they go home for their, what I think it's 72, I was told recently.
They're working to move it from 48 to 72. Yeah.
Or, well, 48 now, it will be 72. And
Yeah.
so, and I think that they're trying not to do that as much with CAL FIRE, but it's, I mean.
But like the infrastructure is what it is, resetting all of it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just, I didn't understand that when we were in it. And so it was like, if I had known that, it would have been like, oh, well, you have no control. Like, oh, you got off the fire line, why aren't you coming home, kind of thing. So,
Right. And
or
then
on the
it puts a little gamble in there that they don't get sent to another fire in that tiny window. Is that essentially how it works?
so, and then if they pop off again in their unit, then they're going to that, and so on and so forth. Then the cycle continues, rinse and repeat. And then also like the CNRs and the like right now we're in a staffing pattern, so nobody's going home. But that's I think understanding the schedule
Yeah.
is like so important. And
Hmm.
then understanding the fire service in general, I think
Hmm.
is really important. So if you're not like sitting down with your spouse and talking about this is what my schedule is, this is how things
Hmm.
operate, and knowing ahead of time,
Yeah.
right? Like would have
It's
saved me
huge.
a whole lot of heartache, you know?
Well, and I think to anyone who's listening who is the firefighter on this, I think sometimes there's a temptation to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Bites you in the ass. Do not do it. Sit down and talk about, like, you're good at worst case scenario in every other element of life. Do a little bit of that at home with the schedule and be really clear about, here is what this could look like, worst case scenario. Here's what we're hoping for. Here's the variables. Help your partner understand. Otherwise, like that, I can imagine that felt so disrespectful to just keep getting told, nope, I'm leaving again with no understanding of why. Yeah. Talk about abandoned, like feeling abandoned in the middle of
Well,
that.
then, added my own abandonment issues from my childhood, and you've got a whole mess. Like a
Yeah.
whole mess.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. Like it happened, it's over. We're past it. Like I get it now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's like that if I had to give anybody any advice, sit down and like just talk about the basic
Talk it through.
things
Yeah. Yeah.
before like immediately.
Yeah.
Like if you're getting engaged or you're married or you're in a relationship, sit down right now, have the conversation. Like don't do what we did and resent each other and hate each other for 17 years of your marriage. Just don't do that.
No,
It's not
it's
it's not necessary.
exhausting.
It's completely unnecessary.
And a lot of couples can't, like you guys were able to work it through and keep it together. A lot of couples can't. And I mean, some relationships need to end. That is what needs to happen. But sometimes it could have been avoided. And so
Mhm.
I think even going back to the fact that you, in the middle of that, were feeling so many big feelings tied to childhood and the situation that comes from fire life, like my guess is then you feel really ashamed. Like, why am I such a hot mess? And it's like, no, now in hindsight, you see it.
Mhm.
So if someone is listening and you feel like a hot mess, okay, like find someone who can help you untangle it so you don't have to go a decade feeling that.
Well, that was exactly what I did. A whole decade of it, right? Like, not fun. Don't do that.
No.
Yeah. So have the conversations early. Have them now. Like that's I think my biggest. And don't be ashamed to have feelings. Like
Yeah.
you're allowed to
And
have feelings.
if you don't know how, don't be ashamed of that either. Like the course I built specifically, because the course I have two, one for individuals and one for couples. And part of it is a lot of the first responders don't know how to say what's going on. So they're coming home trying to be strong, silent type, trying to play with the kids and pick up, like they know they've been gone. They're trying to come in and be helpful and responsible. They can't put it into words. You can't put it into words, and it's a disaster. So if you need help learning how to put it into words, that's why I've built this, is specifically to build that skill.
So one of the things that I didn't know was going on early on is like when he got forced on duty or he was on a fire, I would take the kids. Like our thing was we'd go fill a grocery cart full of candy and we'd
Yeah.
come home and have movie marathon night. And in
Yep.
my husband's mind, oh my God, she's out spending money again.
Okay.
Like, you know, didn't understand why I was doing it. I wasn't really explaining it. And
Yeah.
then he's resenting me because I'm doing this thing that he doesn't understand. And I'm upset with him because he's upset with me. Like it was just this whole kerfuffle of
Totally.
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently that he told me that. Like he literally, like just a few weeks ago, told me, he's like, I used to get so mad at you when you do that. But now I totally understand why you do it. Like, well,
Yeah.
that would have been a nice conversation 17 years ago.
Well, even like jealousy, I see it pop up a lot. Jealousy around the fact that you get to do movie night and feeling like a bit left out of that. And then there can be so many complex emotions that aren't because anyone sucks. Like nobody in the equation is a bad partner. It just is what it is. And we have to be able to talk about it.
We need to talk about it, and we're just trying to do the best we can in the moments that we're in. And that was my best that I could do. I'm like, I'm exhausted from the day. Now my husband's stuck on duty. My kids are disappointed because dad's not coming home. How am I going to make them feel better?
Yeah.
Candy, popcorn, like, yeah. Disneyland mom. Yeah.
Then you can sit on the couch and yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I fully support it.
I
Yeah.
100% like whatever works for you to make the kid. And it made them kind of look, not that like they wanted their dad to be gone, but it gave them something to look forward to within the suck that was
Yeah.
like good.
Yeah.
That made them feel good.
It's kind of like when I take the kid to the orthodontist and we get a Slurpee after. Like
Yeah.
you're just trying to kind of help with the suck of it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else you want to add? Do you want to talk a little bit like more in depth about the course or
Yeah, I can. So essentially, I've rebuilt it. So this is material. If you've ever seen my stuff, this is some of the same foundational core material, which is all about teaching you the skills that we've talked about. So who are you and what do you need? How do you assess how you're doing? Like learning to read our central nervous system, learning to put that into words, and then figuring out how to make a system that meets your needs. So like if we go back to what you're saying for the dark days, the system is built to flex. So like if you do the course, well, one of the things that's in there is like, okay, what season is coming up and what do you need? And season could be anything. Could be the kids starting school. This isn't just fire. Um, my big thing that I want everyone to walk away with is feeling like they're empowered to take care of themselves. Because I feel like we all know that we need to take care of ourselves, but we're kind of like, so like, do I get a pedicure or what do I do? And this builds it into an actual structure and system. And I just finished, I'm in the middle of finishing. One of the things I hear is nobody has time. And so I've built it into 6 weeks, 5 to 10 minutes a day. So it's literally like this little drip, drip, drip. If like you can do it sitting in the pickup line, or like, I don't care. People can watch the training sitting on the toilet. I don't care as long as you get the information and it helps improve your life. And so that's what I've been working on. And hopefully it's something that can make a big difference.
actually love that. Like we love to listen to podcasts and these little bite-sized things all the time and TikTok videos. And people love quick education. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be great. I'm like, I might watch it.
Yeah. I'll give it to you. It's like my hope is that, and the other thing is it has to simmer. Like it goes between a video lesson and some questions. And I think sometimes we think that we should know, and it's like, no, let it simmer. That's part of the point is like a little drip to simmer. And then for the relationship course, it also has questions. Because if we go back to like learning how to talk to each other, if we don't know how, you have to learn. So I give some questions to guide that conversation.
Yeah, and if you're like us and it took you 10 years of your marriage to figure out that you needed to be talking to each other, learning that 10 years in, you have to unlearn bad habits and then
Mm-hmm.
relearn good ones. And that
Mm-hmm.
can be really, really hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. And marriage is work and it's maintenance and
It's
it's not like it's
mhm.
not easy street, man. You're gonna
No.
fight. You're gonna fight for it.
Yeah, and I think we expect that you'll just be fine. And it's like, no, in what world do two complicated people living complicated lives just be fine? You have to work on it.
Well, it's like anything else. I mean, you don't have friendships that just magically appear and stay forever. Like you have to actually
Mhm.
work on it. You have to actually talk to your people. Like,
Yep.
right. So
Yep.
what made us think that in a marriage it was going to be any different? And then add kids. Oh my gosh. Like what?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I love it. I cannot wait for your course. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
and I can't wait for people to get their hands on it. And I really do hope that your goal is achieved like tenfold. Like,
I just really, at the end of the day, I really want to help because I feel like I see a lot of unnecessary suffering.
yeah.
And if we can put that into a system, let's do it.
Okay. So how do people find you?
So my website is STACK of stones, STONES.com. And this is not like the Zen stacks that people make at the spa. This is like the ones on the trail that teach you which direction to go. I always like to point that out. I'm not a Zen person. Um,
Really? You say things like fuck?
I love that. It's one of my favorite. I mean, it's just a great word. And I love to like add to it like fucky or the fuckery or like There's just a lot of variation.
In context, she asked me if she could use bad words on the podcast before we started.
I always check. I always check because if you have a 2-year-old in the back seat and all of a sudden I'm like, fuckity fuck, 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 I don't want to be teaching your kid new words. Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, so not a Zen
So, Shannon's not Zen. Shannon is not, yeah. Stackofstones.com. And then my Instagram, where I try to do same thing, lots of little drips of information, is _ stack of stones _ someone else, some Zen person in Germany or something has the other one. But
the Instagram series that you're doing on relationships right now is amazing and hilarious, and I love it. So you guys definitely check out the Instagram for the little relationship series because it's freaking funny. And I was like, yes.
sometimes I just record what comes out of my mouth and then I upload it and then I'm like, oh, I hope that goes okay.
I'm here for it. I love all of it. Like, and that is why you're on this podcast, because I was just like, oh gosh, we got to talk about this stuff. So it's fantastic. Love it. Everybody check her out. Get that course. And I think there's going to be a discount code in the show notes. So
yep, we'll put a discount code in and keep an eye out. I'll probably do some like holiday giveaways and stuff like that too. So.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone who's out there holding down the fort. Yeah.